these videos get harder to make. I kind of run out of things to talk to about too. Chemo brain's crazy. I guess I update everybody on kind of like my sporadic videos over the hospital stay. I did end up with a bowel obstruction. It was scary. It was painful. While I was in the hospital, after the ER, I ended up on the floor. While I was in the ER, they were giving me 2 milligrams of Dilaudid per IV. When I was admitted and they put me up on the floor, they were giving me 0.5 milligrams of Dilaudid per IV. Anybody that is terminal and has pain can kind of relate to what that feels like from going from here with your pain medication to here. It's like going from Tylenol to baby aspirin. I was like, are you joking? I was reeling in pain after 4 hours and begging, please up my dose. So pain management come to see me and they were like, are you joking? And this lady was fantastic. She was like, I'm gonna make this happen. She wasn't even gone 10 minutes and walked back into my room and she's like, she's coming, she'll be here in a minute. And she had like this really deep southern twang and I can't do it. I'm really not that good. I'm from New Hampshire. I cannot do a southern twang. I have girlfriends that are from the South and I can't even pull off y'all. And they're like, no girl, that is not happening out of your mouth. So yeah, no. And I was so blessed to have pain management in my life. In fact, my oncologist recommended palliative care pain management, which I already fired one, a private organization. And I'm like, yeah, no, no, I'll just stick with Lee County pain management because they served me well in the hospital. I'm not gonna go to palliative. No, thank you. Of course, the lady's trying to talk me into it. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm going to stay with who was with me in the hospital, who stood behind me and fought for me and advocated for me. But yeah, it was horrid, horrid. If you find pain management that's gonna stand behind you and step on doctors' heads, stay with them. So anyway, back to the bowel obstruction. It was horrid, NG tube down my nose. Still recovering from that because it goes down your nose. You know, that little dangly thing in the back of your throat. It slides past that. And it went down the left side. I'm sure you see this video backwards and it looks like I'm pointing to the right side. But it went down the left side of my nose. And so now every time I swallow a pill, that if it's a certain size, like tiny, it gets stuck back up, like almost like it wants to go up my nose. And so yeah, be real careful if you ever get an NG tube. Another thing I want you really to be aware of, I got a call from my pharmacy yesterday. I put a flag on my my account, I don't know, probably about 6 weeks ago because I was given some medications. I was given fentanyl, I was given Dilaudid, I was given a couple other things, and they all kind of clashed. I had a moderate to severe interaction. I ended up overdosing on some medications. I got really sick. So I put a flag on my own account saying, you know, I'm a terminally ill cancer patient. I can't really pay mind to a lot of stuff. Because I do have chemo brain really bad, so like if a doctor writes me a script, I'm kind of like, okay, I trust you. I know that we should be more aware, but flag your own accounts. You know, let your pharmacist know. You know, sometimes I'm a little lightheaded and weary, I don't pay attention. Let them know. So I got a call from my pharmacist yesterday. She says, Rhonda, do you know you're on Remeron? I'm like, what's that? So yeah. I was on Remeron, which is an antipsychotic. I was like, no. She says, yeah. I said, is that little teeny tiny pill I take at bedtime? She goes, I don't know what he prescribed it for, but yeah, you're on Remeron, and I'm not sure what time you take it. So I told her what the little pill looked like, and she says, yeah, that's it. I looked at the tag that was on the bottle, and all it said was, take one pill every night at bedtime. Doesn't say for what. I was under the assumption it was one of the antibiotics for my bowel obstruction, because I was on 2 antibiotics while I was in the hospital. I was on amoxicillin and Xyron. So when I left the hospital, I left with what I assumed, and you should never assume, 2 antibiotics. So I filled my pill box with the 2 big horse pills and the 1 little pill, which I thought was an antibiotic. It didn't say Remeron on it because they gave me the generic form because I'm on Medicare. So I was taking it. So when I got out of the hospital, I developed this rotten attitude, which I thought, and I had the same rotten attitude when I was in the hospital. Of course, it wasn't rotten to the nurses. I have a tendency to lash out at the people that are closest to me, and that was my husband. And I was mean to him. Every time I saw him, I would bite off his head and spit it back on his neck every chance I got. And it was over the stupidest things. Yeah, I had to take him out to dinner last night and apologize a lot. It caused really bad side effects. I was cranky, I was miserable, I was fussy like a baby. It was bad. I can't take antipsychotics, and that's exactly what Remeron is. It's used for people that are suicidal, they're have insomnia. I hadn't slept a good night's sleep since they had me on this medication. I guess one of the nurses felt as if I wasn't getting enough sleep while I was in the hospital, and they put me on this medication all by themselves without consulting me. And they were giving it to me per IV. So I was getting it like that in my system. You don't give people medications without asking them first. So anyway, long story short, I stopped taking the medication. I feel much better. That's why you haven't heard from me. I was just a basket case. No sleep. The bags under my eyes are gone. I look nice and bright. I do not wear makeup ever. I was a mess. So please read your prescription bottles. Look up what you're taking. Look for drug interactions. Do it before your pharmacist does it for you, because apparently they didn't read my flag, because I took those medications for 5 days after I was out of the hospital. 5 days before they even noticed my flag on my account at the pharmacy. So, yeah, lesson learned. I was taking an antipsychotic. Not even to mention the anti-nausea medication that they gave me. The doc was like, oh, this is better than Phenergan, because I'm allergic to Zofran. They give me Phenergan. He said, this is better than Phenergan because my body's grown accustomed to the Phenergan. They gave me this other one. Well, this other one they use for schizophrenia. I don't know where these docs get these medications, but I'm just gonna stick with ginger tea. Yeah, I'm all done putting pills in my mouth that are made by man. I'm too close to, I'm gonna call it my birthday of the just. That's what the Catholics call it. So that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna stop using the D word because it's really creepy. It creeps people out. It makes them say, oh honey, don't say that. So I'm just gonna call it the birthday of the just. I just don't want to keep putting man-made materials inside of my body that I'm really not sure what they are. If I'm going to have nausea, I'm going to drink some nice warm ginger tea that I make from ginger that I grow. I'm not going to buy it from a market or an organic grower. I grow my own food here in Southwest Florida, and that's what I'm going to do. I have ginger growing in my garden right now, over there to the right, because that's my left, and that's the right. The bowel obstruction for me luckily broke up. on its own. The NG tube down my nose into my guts was sucked out. The containers were about this tall, the size of my head. They tapered down exactly like your head does. I filled up 3.5 of those over a 5-day period, 4 nights, 5-day period. Yeah, that was fun. Finally, on Saturday morning early, I pooed my pants. It wasn't a lot, but I did. It was about a tablespoon, and then after that, the pooing commenced. It was like water, but then after the water came my very first solid poop at about 6 o'clock in the morning, but it wasn't our solid. It was like, kind of like, I don't know, jello, a lot of spit, but it was a passable one. I even took a picture of it for the doctor. I was so excited, like my hand was shaking. I'm over to the toilet. I'm like, oh, please don't drop my $1,000 phone in the toilet. When the doc came in, the next day I had a cancer walk for ovarian cancer to raise money for our cure. And he said, 1, you need to go on clear fluids, keep it down. And a couple hours after that, you will go on fluids and keep it down and not throw it up. And a few hours after that, you will go on soft diet, keep it down, not throw it up, and I will let you out. I literally hugged that man, and I passed all 3 tests, and I was let out, and I made it to my cancer 5K, and my mascot George and my wonderful, beautiful husband made it across that finish line. And he took my mascot George, which I was supposed to do that walk, and I was going to do it, but I got sick. George had on my number, and you'll never guess what my number was, and I was very proud of it. It was 420. He took my mascot George and made George make it across that finish line first. And that night, he told me, he said, baby, I walked. My husband's a retired Navy chief, and he has bad flat feet. He has bad back. He's old. He's 58, 59. I don't keep track of our ages, so don't even ask me how old I am. I got wrinkles. So anyway, he said to me, he said, I watch you all the time. I watch you fight. And when you hit a wall, I watch you crash through it. And I told myself, when I see that finish line, it was a big blown up finish line. When I see that finish line, I'm just gonna run. And I'm gonna run right through it. And I saw that finish line, he had 1.3 miles to go. And my husband ran. And he ran right to it, right through it, just like me. I just cried again. My big, chubby, lovey teddy bear of a husband with his flat feet and his bad back ran through that finish line for me and pushed my Georgie through. And it was the most beautiful thing that I ever saw. I have a video of it, but they're trying to compress it right now so that I can share it with you. And it was just so beautiful just to see that man do that for me. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. And I also gave a little speech impromptu. I don't know what comes over me sometimes. I feel like I need to talk to people. I tell people about ovarian cancer all the time and how important it is to be aware and to pray and to donate and to help. Because one of the youngest cases, I've shared it, is 2 years old, people. 2. Can you believe that? 2. Kenny, Kenni, is her name. And she just rang the bell in June, literally, 2019. Kenny. Hi, Kenny. Hashtag Kenny Strong. All lowercase, people, look her up. Follow her, please. Follow her little life. She's just a little girl. She had gem cells. She had a tumor removed. I mean, it's just incredible. Ovarian cancer is not picky. It's not an old lady's disease. I was only 43 years old when I got diagnosed. This disease is not picky. It's not picky at all. She's 2 years old. There's teenagers getting it. Watch your daughters. I mean, something as simple as a little tummy ache could be ovarian cancer. And it's not just the CA125 that's going to find it, because some ovarian cancers they don't react to the CA125. It could be anything. You have to watch your bodies, because this is dangerous, so dangerous. If I didn't go into the hospital with this being septic, they would have never found my bowel obstruction. My bowel obstruction could have killed me. So can people, this channel is important to me. My videos aren't that great now, but they are gonna be. They're going to explode. They're going to go somewhere. I'm new at this. I need my channel to be liked and shared. I need more followers. I really, really do. I need this to go somewhere so that I can make things happen. I can't do anything without more followers. I have to have them. I need 1,000 followers in order to go live. To go live would make this explode. I can't do anything without going live. So please help me find more followers. Just a follow. That's it. That's all I need is a follow. The more followers I have, the further I can go. Don't make me be one of the ones that just sits back in the darkness of YouTube, because I have a voice. I have a strong voice. My voice can go places. I can write. I can read. I can do things. Please help me. Help me help others, because I have that voice. I have the face. I have a really good smile too. All right, signing off for today. I made it through the bowel obstruction. I'm gonna beat this. And even if I don't, I am gonna reach tons and tons of people. Waiting for my birthday of the just, I am gonna beat ovarian cancer one way or another. And I'm gonna help everybody else beat it too. Bye.